Rúben Amorim has spoken to the press just after the game against Fulham, where he talked about the game between Manchester United and Grimsby Town. And it's a game where it might be a slippery pill for everybody. For Giants, it's a slippery pill, right? But we're going to break down every word that Rúben Amorim has said ahead of the game. We're going to just take it straight up. But then, before we start, United return to action in the Carabao Cup this week. And let's be honest, these are the games where you discover the truth about your squad depth, your mentality, and your manager's vision, right? It's Grimsby Town, a lower league opponent, but make no mistake, these nights can either be a stepping stone or a landmine. Now, after Rúben Amorim's latest press conference, we've got some fascinating insight into how he's thinking about rotation, player development, and even United's readiness for European football next season. He talked about Man United not being ready for European football and all of that. And so let's buckle in, and today we're going to just dive deep into every word Rúben Amorim has said ahead of the midweek clash. Now, yes, basically Amorim was very clear when he was asked about rotation. He said, yes, we have 3 games this week. We have quality players and we need to do rotation to try to win every game. That's not just a soundbite. That's philosophy, right? That's a philosophy. For years, United managers have been accused of overplaying their key men and burning them out by Christmas. Amorim is sending a different message, and this is about the squad, not just the 11. Now, for the Carabao Cup tie against Grimsby Town, that probably means opportunities for fringe players and youngsters, and even those who have been hovering on the edge of the starting lineup. But there's also a deeper point here, because Amorim wants players to accept that sometimes they'll start and sometimes they won't, and that the rhythm of the team matters more than just individual game minutes. That is what Rúben Amorim has said time and again with regards to, who starts for Man United and everything in between. With regards to balancing rhythm and happiness, the follow-up question was sharp. Does rotation risk upsetting and breaking their rhythm or leaving someone dissatisfied? And Rúben Amorim's reply was very fascinating. He said it's a normal thing that happens in other clubs, right? We were not prepared to play in Europe this year. That is my feeling. They just need to fight for the places, and then everything can change. There are 2 layers to what Amorim has said here. First, he's normalizing competition. This isn't a crisis, it's how top clubs function. Second, and maybe more telling, he admits that United aren't yet built for Europe, right? And that's honesty. He's basically saying, look, the Champions League rhythm of Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday would have been too much because the squad is still in construction. And that is something that everybody needs to kind of basically understand when I'm talking about these things. For the fans, this might be a sting. This might sting a little bit, right? We always want to be at the top of the table, but it's also refreshing for Amorim as well, and for the team and for fans. Amorim is building for sustainability, not shortcuts. His emphasis on players fighting for places tells you exactly how he sees this week. Carabao minutes aren't charity, they are auditions, right? Now, the third segment of the interview for Rúben Amorim was centered around Mazraoui and injuries and updates. In an important update, the question was around Mazraoui, and his answer was Mazraoui maybe next week. He's near just finishing some drills, so they're putting him some drills so as to see whether he would be ready for the next game, as the case may be, so that he doesn't have any recurrent injuries and things like that. So Mazraoui probably next week. Another one is he talked about he said that means the right back, obviously based on this whole Mazraoui situation, the right back situation remains slightly stretched. Against Grimsby Town, Amorim will almost certainly lean on probably Ahmad or Dalo, or rotate in a younger option, but then notice his careful language to be sure he's not going to another problem. That's the language he used there. And that's classic Amorim. Long-term trust over short-term risk. With so many games ahead, he is not going to gamble. And basically everybody's saying, no, we don't have so many games this season, this and that. But in truth, yeah, United have games. There's games to go around for everybody. If we're talking about games, we're talking about up to 50 games if we go find the cups, and up to 40 something games if we go find one of the cups and all of that. So it's very important that Man United fans kind of understand where things are in this situation and how Ruben Amorim intends to line up or prepare the team. He wants them to be as fresh as possible for every game, not just to be too tired out, considering the fact that, like I said in the last video, where somebody was asking a question, was telling me that the 4-2-3-1 makes the players not to work so hard, which is better because they don't get tired in second half. Meanwhile, everybody's bashing Marcus Rashford for not working hard, and then now you're saying, oh, the players will work too hard with a 4-2-3-1, well, with a 4-3-4-3, but it is what it is. So it might be an opportunity for a rotation option, but that's classic Amorim. With so many games ahead, he's not going to gamble. The next section, which we're going to talk about in this whole Amorim press conference, is with regards to the benefit of no Europe and the ability to maximize the time you need to work. So this came as a telling reflection. So we need time to prepare every game. The games are really competitive and we need time to build a base. That's even with Grimsby Town, it's going to be very competitive, and in the future we will need Europe for everybody to play games. What's he saying? That right now the absence of European football is actually a gift, and Amorim is using this season to drill patterns, embed his system, and get the group functioning as one unit. And when that foundation is set, then he will want the volume of games in Europe, the volume that the games in Europe will provide. So against Grimsby Town, we expect United to treat the tie with full tactical seriousness, not as a distraction, but another chance to sharpen the edges of the new project that Ruben Amorim is starting in his first full season as Man United head coach. And then to the fifth segment of this whole thing, next section is with regards to Bayern and physical battles at corners. This one is the spiciest moment in the presser. I mean, he was asked about Bayern being knocked around on corners, and Amorim didn't bite. He said, yeah, we are trying everything, but every Premier League game has big occasions for corners, and that is the same with all the other teams, right? He said that will happen in every game. So in other words, stop obsessing over it. That's what he's saying. Physical duels on set pieces are part of the English football, and Amorim isn't going to whine about it, but there is a tactical undertone too. He knows Bayern needs more protection, but he's careful not to shift the blame onto defenders. Instead, he reframed it. He reframed it. United had their own set piece chances, scoring. This is what Ruben Amorim was saying. Like, we had our own set piece chances, scoring from one, even won a penalty. So he's turning the narrative from problem to opportunity. For Grimsby, this matters because lower league sides thrive on set pieces. As we've seen, they scored a lot of set pieces this season already, having played 5 games. Corners, throw-ins, scrappy deliveries, they deal with scraps in the box. As I've said in the match preview, go watch that. This is their brand and their bread and butter, right? So Amorim's comments suggest that United will prepare rigorously for that area battle, but without panicking. And then to the next one, or the last part of the questions that were asked to Ruben Amorim, it was around Rasmus Højlund. So finally on Rasmus Højlund, on his availability or being uncertain, he said all the players are available. This is what Ruben Amorim said. And then he said, we will make the choice to get the best 11. And that's Amorim keeping it simple. Yes, Højlund's absence sparked speculation. Yes, we all know that Napoli are interested in Rasmus Højlund. His form has been under the microscope, but Amorim gives nothing away. By saying all available, he keeps the pressure off the player while maintaining tactical flexibility. For United fans, the takeaway is this: don't be surprised if Højlund gets minutes against Grimsby Town, but also don't be surprised if Amorim uses this as a chance to experiment with other striker profiles like Joshua Zirkzee. He's been very open about switching between, different types of forwards, and this might also be the perfect stage for it. So what did we learn from the whole press conference? Just to wrap this whole press conference review all up, what did we learn from the whole press conference? 3 big things we learned. First of all, rotation is a non-negotiable. He's probably going to rotate more. Everyone gets their chance, but nobody's guaranteed theirs forever. And then number 2 is that the squad is still a project. Amorim admits that they are not yet ready for Europe, and that honesty basically is rare in modern football, because most times everybody expects him to say, oh, I think we're ready for every game and stuff. We were not ready for Europe last year, we're not ready for Europe this year, and we need to build a squad. If we needed time to get out of Europe to be able to build a squad, then that's what's most important. And then the third point there was that Grimsby isn't just a formality. So with set pieces, with air duels, with fringe player auditions, it's all on the line. So for me, this feels like a perfect storm for a cup tie, right? United have to balance development and dominance, manage egos and opportunities, and show that the new Amorim era is about consistency and not chance, albeit it's just Grimsby Town. No disrespect to Grimsby Town. So when United walk out at Blundell Park, 9,052-seater stadium, it won't just be a Carabao Cup second round game. It will be a test of depth, discipline, and direction. And if Amorim gets this right, he sends a message not just to Grimsby, but also to every player in the squad that the standards are set and the fight for places has only just begun. Right? So that's pretty much what it is. That is pretty much what it is. Now, you've been listening to United Talks podcast. You've been watching us all over, all the while. I just want to thank you all for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. We always try as much as possible to bring you deep dives into more like things like Amorim's press side. We're trying to get into what he says in his mind, and what we're trying to work out what his plans are. So if you've liked this kinds of review, this kinds of insight, hit the like button, drop your thoughts in the comment section, and also make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our future episodes. Anything as relates to Manchester United, we'll give it to you. Even clips from press conferences, we'll also give it to you. United are on the march again, basically, and this team needs backing. Not just the manager, but the team, the club itself needs backing. So like I said, we'll break it down every step by step, every step of the way. But thank you for just being loyal and just following. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. Sometimes we might have our own differences of opinions and arguments, but the comments are very valuable and valid. I appreciate that, and I look forward to having future conversations with you guys and featuring people as well. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section, as I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.